Welcome back to our channel. Today we are, I think it's like 2 or 3 days out from Christmas at the moment.
Only 2 more sleeps.
So we are doing a Christmas inspired recipe today. So we're going to be doing some gingerbread men.
So they are gluten-free and dairy-free. However, we have some options that do add some sugar.
Yes.
If you're
not
feeling
completely
risky.
holy.
So you can add some real like dried ginger pieces, but they are like candied ginger.
Yeah.
And if you choose to put some piped icing on top, I really feel like
trying to do paleo icing, I just don't know if it really exists, guys.
You need the sugar to make it like become the crystal.
Become like cemented.
Like the cement.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of a struggle town. So we're not going to be doing fully paleo icing by any means. So it is going to have some refined sugar in there.
We have seen people use panna chocolate, white chocolate and pipe that on. We don't know, we cannot verify whether that works.
We were thinking about trying it, but we couldn't find any of the white chocolate. So we're gonna be a little bit naughty today, forgive us. And yeah, but the recipe is gluten-free, dairy-free, just not refined sugar-free. So we're gonna jump straight in. Okay guys, so for this recipe, we are going to be using 2.5 cups of almond flour, 1 cup of tapioca flour, 6 tablespoons of local raw honey, half a teaspoon of bicarb soda. In terms of spices, we're going to be using 2 tablespoons of ground ginger, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of ground clove, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then lastly, we're going to be doing about a cup of candied ginger, but this is of course optional, depending on whether or not you want to have it refined sugar-free. But it will add a lot of chewiness to our cookies. And of course, you're also gonna need some cute cookie cutters. We borrowed these from Gabe's Play-Doh set. And we also have this obviously full-size rolling pin. It's also from Gabe's Play-Doh, guys.
Obviously I'm not a baker.
We realized last minute that we don't have a rolling pin. Well, I have one, but Beck doesn't. She only has this
the
mini version. But you know, it'll get the job done. And for the icing, we're going to be using some icing sugar. So obviously this is not going to be the healthiest thing in the world, but keep in mind that it's only going to be a very small amount on the cookies because we're just going to be piping a little bit on. So we have some icing sugar, some egg white, and we're going to use about a tablespoon of lemon juice.
Okay, so we need to start off by preheating the oven to about 180 degrees Celsius. Okay guys, so we'll start by just putting all the dry ingredients into a large bowl. So that's your flours and spices. And we'll dump them in.
So starting with 2.5 cups of blanched almond meal.
And 1 cup of tapioca. 2 tablespoons of ginger. 1/4 teaspoon of ground clove. Half a teaspoon of nutmeg. And a tablespoon of cinnamon. Pinch of salt. We're also doing half a teaspoon of baking soda, I think otherwise known as bicarb. If you're really fussy, you'd probably put it all through a sieve, but to be honest, it kind of crushes, like all the little lumps crush down pretty easy. So next we are going to combine the coconut oil and the honey with a little bit of heat. So you can either do it over the stove top, or if you have a microwave, you can give it a zap. So it was 4 tablespoons of coconut oil, around 5 to 6 tablespoons of honey. So the key is not to really boil the ingredients or anything like that. We're just wanting to sort of soften up the honey so that it creates like a nice sort of combined mixture. Okay, so you know the drill. We combine the wet ingredients with the dry. I don't think you have to be particularly fancy with how you do this. So we're pretty much combined. I'm just going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla extract, or a rough swig because I like vanilla. And then we're pretty much going to have to get in and work this by hand to get a nice ball of dough. If you find it's just a tad dry, you can add a little swig more of coconut oil. It is normal though for this kind of dough to be fairly crumbly and need a bit of working until it all kind of comes together. So I'm just going to chop up our little ginger chewy pieces. Okay, so now that we have a ball of dough, I'm just going to pop this into the freezer for realistically like 15 minutes. If you had more time, you could do it for a couple of hours, or you could even leave this in the fridge overnight. We're just going to pop it in for 15 or so just to get it a little bit more chilled and it will kind of hold together a bit better. Okay, so we've pulled our dough out of the fridge and put some tapioca flour onto the bench. Now we're going to attempt rolling with the mini roller. So now that we have like a thin layer through the middle, we're going to go in with our molds. We'll have to re-roll and
do it a few times
as you do. So let's go. I think I might just push him a little bit harder. So we're probably going to fill up a couple of trays, but we're just going to pop this one in first, and they only need around 8 minutes.
Yeah, depending on the size. So if you're doing big gingerbread men, you could do more like 10 minutes, but just keep an eye on them. Okay, so by the way, we do have Gabe here if you hear any little sounds in the background. Or big sounds. So I'm gonna make the icing. This is just like the standard royal icing sort of mix. So I'm gonna be using 1 egg white, a cup of icing sugar, and I'm going to get about a tablespoon of lemon juice. So I'm gonna start with just my egg white. Just adding our lemon juice. And I don't have a stand mixer or a hand mixer, so I'm just going to do this all by hand. So I'm gonna froth up this egg white. Okay, so now that that is frothy, I'm just gonna add in a bit of our icing sugar at a time. So we are up to icing our gingerbread. It is Struggle Town. We have another member in the crew.
Interference. Pure interference.
So obviously we've just popped our icing into this little icing piping bag. Whoa, it's wiggly. Oopsie.
Wow.
Okay, so we have finished icing our gingerbread.
We are novice icing people.
We're not great at
We have
making.
a few rejects.
No, we just got over it after a while. We're like, whatever.
Whatever we said about little icing on these was
False.
obviously a bold-faced lie.
But otherwise, they're not looking too bad. Some of them are looking better than others, but this is our end result, and the gingerbread itself tastes good. So that's the main part. Obviously, you can get more creative, and depending on your skill level.
Don't look on Pinterest because it'll just make you feel bad.
Just make you depressed.
Unless you have like better piping equipment.
Yeah, we were just using obviously like a bag, but anywho, that is our gingerbread. Okay, so we are all done, and I think we're gonna sign off this little recipe video here. If you enjoyed this one,
I feel like we're more like bedraggled, and it's really hot
I had
here.
icing in my hair as well.
And it's like so hot here.
It's disgustingly hot. We're not having a white Christmas here. So I guess we're gonna sign off. If you guys enjoyed this recipe, want to see more recipes on our channel, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed.
And other than that, we will wish you guys a Merry Christmas.
And we will see you in the new year.
Okay.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.